Welcome, race fans. This is Fan4Racing Sharon, and the NASCAR Cup Series is back at Chicagoland Speedway. And if you're trying to gain an edge in your fantasy picks this week, you've come to the right place. This is the Fantasy Report, and we'll break down the drivers you should lock into your lineup, the sleepers who could deliver a big value, and the drivers you may want to leave on the bench this week. We'll look at recent momentum, intermediate track performance, and who's poised to capitalize as NASCAR returns to one of the sport's most popular venues. Whether you're chasing a league championship or just trying to beat your friends this weekend, let's dive into the best fantasy picks for Chicagoland Speedway. All right, welcome to Fan4Racing Radio, and welcome to Reed Scarce. Glad to have you back, Reed.
Thank you, of course. I think doing these fantasy reports are kind of our favorite segment, so ready to get into it here.
It is. I love ending the week with the fantasy report. These are our Chicagoland picks, our starters, our sleepers, and not this week. Fantasy report for the NASCAR Cup Series. And I'll tell you what, we've got a lot to look for here. I'm going to bring up on the stage here the odds. All right. We've got Denny Hamlin at the top of the list here with Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Ryan Blaney, the top five. I feel like those guys have been the top five just about every intermediate track we go to.
Yeah, especially if we talk about the Coca-Cola 600, because that's kind of what this Ryan Blaney was kind of like top 8 that race, but these are kind of the drivers I think about when we talk about that race and who is in contention.
Yes. So Denny Hamlin at the top of that list, Ryan Blaney at the bottom of the top 5 here. But you go down a little bit, there's some other good picks down here when you think about Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, William Byron, Ty Gibbs, and Carson Hocevar. What do you think of the next 5?
Yeah, I think I feel like those are all, pretty accurate representations of kind of who I had. I think all those guys are right in my top 10 for this week. I don't mind that at all. If you're looking for kind of a long shot, go with Carson Hocevar because he definitely had a lot of speed at Michigan. He came back from a little bit of adversity during the Coke 600. Not a great race, but he's been good on the intermediates this year, close to having more wins than just the one at Talladega.
Okay. And I will tell you, just based on some feedback that I've been hearing about the test that took place back in April at Chicagoland Speedway, the track is bumpier than drivers remember it because it was bumpy before. I remember a lot of drivers complaining about the bumps over in turn 3. There's now more bumps. There's a rough patch over the tunnel turn in turn 1. And the car is different. The next gen car has never raced at Chicagoland Speedway. That's why we don't have any stats to give you from Chicagoland in the next gen car. So what the drivers are saying is that the way that car is built, there's no suspension like there was in the Gen 6 car. So those bumps, they're going to feel those bumps a lot more at Chicagoland Speedway than they have in the past.
Yeah, it's definitely going to feel closer to like an inaugural race. Of course, we haven't raced here since 2019, where Alex Bowman won. I think we'll briefly talk about him here soon. I think the closest tracks we got to Chicagoland on the schedule previously are going to be like your Kansas, Las Vegas. But I really like Chicagoland. It's a shame that it's been off the schedule for so long. I hope there's a spot for it on the schedule in the future.
I agree with you. I was so disappointed when they closed it down in 2019.
I understand that it's business and money is money, but it's still just such a shame.
It is. Okay, here's our next 5 drivers on this odds list. Any thoughts about any of these drivers? Do you see any dark horses here?
I like Bubba Wallace for this week. Toyota super good on the intermediates this year. Bubba Wallace, he was super fast at Michigan. I think he had a car that could probably contend for the win, if not for that splitter damage from Hurricane Hocevar. He has some coming off a good run over at San Diego, had some struggles at Sonoma, but I like Bubba Wallace this week. Um, I'm not sure about Joey Logano. He just does not have a lot of momentum right now. I think I expect him to run, kind of top 15, but I would stay away from him on a long shot bet for the win because he has shown very little race winning speed this year, if any at all.
And just an interesting stat that I've come across during the week here is Brad Keselowski is the only driver to win in a Ford at Chicagoland Speedway. And he has 2 wins.
Wow.
He won there in 2014. And I can't remember the other year that he won, but I think it was prior to. His last win came in 2014. So just some interesting stats there. Corey Heim is in the field. What are your thoughts about Corey Heim?
I'm excited for it. He hasn't shown that much race winning speed, although I did find his run at Texas Motor Speedway very, very promising. Led a ton of laps that race. I honestly don't know what to expect from Corey Heim. I kind of expect him and Riley Herbst to be next to each other because so far this year they've been like neck and neck in running position at these intermediates. I really don't know what to expect. If he could get a win here, that would be that would really shake a lot of things up for his career. But I'm excited to see him race. I like Eric Jones on this list. He's been very fast at the intermediates, and I'm a little surprised that he's not higher up, actually. Genuinely probably had like the best long run car at Michigan, and he's always good. Like he always pulls out some great runs at intermediates and good at Pocono. I think we forget about that. So but after this I kind of don't get excited about maybe like after Corey Heim. I don't even get excited for Alex Bowman, who's the defending race winner. Honestly, ever since he's been back from Vertigo, respectfully, I feel I barely have noticed him. I feel like he's just running mid-pack. I completely forgot that he was racing at Sonoma in that newer 48 paint scheme.
We didn't hear his name very much, did we?
No. But yeah, after about Corey Heim, I don't really get excited about too many of these guys.
Well, I do like Eric Jones as well. Eric Jones has won at that track as
Absolutely.
well. And, Jay and I always talk about, the weekend that we were there, a lot of people complaining about the bump over in turn 3. And when Eric Jones won, I remember asking him, what are your thoughts about that bump over in turn 3? Because a lot of drivers have been complaining about it all weekend. And he said, the way I look at it, it's my job to figure out how to get around that bump.
Yeah.
And I loved that answer. So, and that's the challenge, though, that a lot of these drivers are going to have this weekend is figuring out how to manage the bumpy track at Chicagoland Speedway.
One of my favorite things about Eric Jones is he's a very quietly confident person.
Yes.
He knows his stuff, and he always goes out there and expects the best from himself. So that's something that I really quite enjoy about Eric Jones.
I couldn't agree more with you. Okay, now some of these other ones down here, Riley Herbst could be a long shot, and same thing with Zane Smith. They could be a long shot dark horse this weekend, I think.
Yeah, I definitely like Zane Smith for sure. I think Front Row Motorsports, they're kind of pushing that 38 car to its limits because they've had a lot of that tire failure at Michigan, even though he was running like top 5 for a lot of that race, I think. And Pocono was running the top 5 before Zane Smith just, got loose, got a little too aggressive. I think, but Front Row Motorsports, that 38 car in general has just been way ahead of his teammates. And I even go back to like Michigan last year, Zane Smith was top 5 in that race as well. I really do like Zane Smith as a long shot. I think I expect Ryan Preece to have a pretty good day. He's usually
Yes.
running top 15 at these intermediates. So if you're low on like uses on some of the top guys in your fantasy lineups, I think Ryan Preece is a solid option to just get you some points to get through the week.
Absolutely. Okay, moving down the list here.
I'm a little surprised AJ Allmendinger isn't ahead of guys like Michael McDowell and Ricky Stenhouse, because he's usually, I know Colleague Racing has definitely struggled at specific track types this year, like some of the intermediates, but I feel like AJ Allmendinger is very solid and consistent at the intermediates. Maybe the thing working against him is he doesn't have consistency to fall back on because he hasn't been at this track in the next gen era, but AJ Allmendinger is kind of in the midst of the cut line right now, and it's going to be an important race for him to see if he can like tread that gap a little bit better.
And these are the guys that are at the bottom of the list.
Yep.
Anybody?
I didn't know Josh Bilicki was entering this race.
Yes,
good for him in that 66 car, but yeah, just not much to talk about here. Just hoping these guys are wanting to get top 25s. Maybe hope that there's some carnage. I know Austin Hill's looking to have a good run in that 33 car. He's been pretty solid at qualifying. The main thing he just needs to work on is just his racecraft. It'll get better as the year goes on. And I don't like Josh Berry ahead of guys like like Allmendinger, Hill, or even Gragson or Gilliland, because that 21 car has just been abysmal this year, to put it frankly. But yeah, I think we did a good job going through them.
Okay.
I talked about some of the guys I thought were noteworthy. I think for the most part I agree with some of these, and then the ones I disagreed with I kind of mentioned. But
okay, now some of these drivers are doing double duty in both the O'Reilly Series and the Cup Series. So Cole Custer is one of those drivers. I know Austin Hill, Connor Zilic, Chase Elliott, I think is racing.
He is, yeah. Yes. Is he Elliott? Who's he driving for? Is it the Hendrick 17?
No, Corey Day's going to be in the Hendrick 17. Chase, I think, is going to be in the 88.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think Chase Elliott's definitely got to be one of the favorites for.
And even for the Cup Series. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Daniel Cespedes, I think is how you pronounce his name. He puts out this one, and I love this chart because it gives you an idea. These are the drivers and how many points they scored in the first 6 races, the middle 6 races, and then the last 6 races. And a good example of what this chart shows you is if you look at the number 7 over here in the first 6, he's right between the 77 and the 17. He moves up here between the 5 and the 97 in the middle 6. And by the time you get to the last 6, he's in the top 6, I guess, drivers. Yeah. So you could see his upward movement from the first 6 races all the way through to these last 6 and how well he's progressed. Another driver you can do that with, and it's a little bit more dramatic. Look at the 43 down here between the 19 and the 42. Yeah, he moves up here between just after the 16 here, and then boom, in this last 6, he has popped up to within the top 7. So
yeah, Legacy Motor Club has kind of done this for the last couple of years. They usually for both their maybe not Nemechek, because I remember in his debut season he started out pretty strong, but especially for that 43 car, they always start a little bit slower in the year, and then right when the summer months kind of hit and we go on stretches of intermediates, he gets into a rhythm and contends for wins. So I'm excited to see Eric Jones here at Chicagoland.
I am too. And just to kind of show you some of the bounces here, you've got in the first 6, the 12 here. In the next 6, the 12 he moved down a little bit, but he bounces right back up again in this last 6.
I don't think there's been a race this year where Ryan Blaney's been outside of the top 3 in points.
Yeah, same thing with the 11. If you look at the 11 and where he's been, he's definitely moved up. The 9, though, I was kind of shocked to see where the 9 is. Up here in the top 5 in the first 6, You look over here, he's in the top 3, but look at where he drops to in the last 6. That was a shock to me.
I think also the 24 of William Byron. I know he hasn't been had the greatest year, but he started out the season pretty well and just pretty much no momentum in the last 12 races.
And then where is he on the last?
He's right above Chase Elliott, a couple points more than
him. There, yeah. Okay, so he went from here in the middle 6 to here in this last 6. So yeah, really kind of surprising. So that's why I like this chart so much. And you see, you had Tyler Reddick up here in the first 6 and middle 6, but it's definitely the 11 now. And when you look at where Tyler Reddick is now, he has dropped between the 20 and the 71 on that last 6.
This chart is very good at looking at guys who are trying to contend for a chase spot and seeing who's kind of on an upward trajectory here. You got guys like Joey Logano who are kind of stagnant right now. And then you got guys like Eric Jones who are climbing the mountain. So I think, this is definitely one of my favorite graphics.
Yes, I love this graphic. Another one here I want to highlight real quick is Ty Gibbs. He was down here between the 5 and the 60 on the first 6. He moved up to the top 4 in the middle 6, and he's top 3 now in these last 6. So he's really starting to come on strong. I think he might be one to watch out for this weekend.
I definitely agree with you. He's been very good at the intermediates this year, just hasn't gotten quite into that top 2 contention, but he was very good at Michigan. I think he won. He got second in stage 1, I believe. Yeah, I'm looking at Ty Gibbs as one of the guys that could maybe contend for a win. And also Ty Gibbs throughout his career, minus his rookie season, 2024, 2025, started out the season very good and just kind of fell off a cliff when we got to the summer. But it's kind of the opposite this year, which is what you want for a driver as we approach the chase. But super impressed with Ty Gibbs this season.
Yes. And let's see here. I want to see what other charts I had lined up here. This one, we have looked at this one in the past. This is the 1.5 intermediates this year, the average finish versus the average running positions. And what you want to look at are these guys that are up here in the northeast quadrant. So Denny Hamlin's up there, Tyler Reddick. You do have the 24 up here, which is a little surprising. The 7. And look at where Bowman is, right on the line here. These are the drivers you want to look at over here.
Definitely, for sure. Alex Bowman running around like probably 19th, it looks like. And then average finishing position, 12.5. So that surprises me a lot. I know he had a good top 5 finish at Texas, wasn't really in contention there, but I'm looking at the Penske guys like Austin Cindric and Joey Logano. They are not anywhere near that top right, especially Austin Cindric, who's kind of had some bad luck this year.
22's on the bottom line.
Yeah, he sure is.
And who is the other one?
Austin Cindric he's to the right of Logano. Have some bad luck this year. He has a pretty solid average running position of like at least in the top 15, but below top 20 in average finish. So not what you want to see out of that crew, especially because him and both Logano find themselves on the chase bubble. These intermediates are such a struggle for Team Penske this year.
Yes, and these are on intermediate tracks this season. So I thought that was a good one for us to look at today as well. Okay, any others that I had here? Average finish and average start. I'm going to skip that one. This chart. Let's take a look at this chart. This is the probability of making the chase. So you've got 100% for your top 3, Hamlin, Reddick, and Blaney. And then it drops down to 99%. But look how it drops down to like 0% chance.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah, very, very interesting here. Here. Let me take a second to look at some of what we got here. The cutoff is Cindric,
It's,
I believe. Is that correct?
yeah, Cindric is your
Okay.
cutoff here. Jones
Um,
is just below.
wow, Logano at 17.7%. That's an
Isn't that
awful
sad?
year for that crew.
Yes.
Yeah, just man, um, it's not fun seeing that 22 not in contention because Logano, regardless of whether you like him or not, he's pretty entertaining. So I like Byron at 82 percent is not something that I would be happy with as a Byron fan. That worries me a little bit. Um, Same with Bubba at 81%, but if he can just have a good solid few races, I say that about a lot of these guys, but if he just can like get solid finishing positions without wrecking out, I think he'll be okay. SVG, he's definitely on watch right now because
Yes.
he's gonna be under a microscope these next few weeks to see if he can maintain that points gap over guys like Cindric and Jones, and yeah, this is a very intense points battle, especially without winning your end, because these guys all are able to contend for like top 10s, top 5s. So
Yes.
super, super interesting. I'm excited for when we get to Daytona. It's gonna be very crazy.
It's going to be very fun. Okay, I think we're ready for our fantasy report, right?
Yep.
You see who's in the photo this week.
Yep.
It is Kyle Larson. And this is the number everybody should remember, 2,562. That is the number of days that the Cup Series, since their last time that they raced at Chicagoland Speedway, and they are now returning to the challenging and bumpy Chicagoland Speedway this weekend. 18 drivers, nearly half the field entered, have never run a Cup race at the 1.5 mile track. The last two events there in 2018 and 19 had banger finishes, including Bowman's breaking through to victory lane for the first time. And then Kyle Larson was in the mix both times and participated in April's Goodyear tire test. So look for the number 5 team to be among the favorites this weekend. I mentioned Ryan Blaney was a part of that tire test as well. So let's go ahead and get started with our must-start drivers. And I'm going to kind of skip over that to get to, these are your must-starts. Yeah, number 11 at the top of the list here, Denny Hamlin, the number 11 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. With just a couple of starts remaining for Hamlin, I'm in a pickle this weekend. But whenever the series hits an intermediate track in 26, he's the guy to beat, finishing 4th or better in the last 6 1.5 mile tracks. Hamlin also participated in the Goodyear tire test in April. So I think those guys that participated in that tire test do have a little bit of an advantage.
That's when those longer practice sessions would be very useful right now for these drivers. No issue with Hamlin here. I mean, the only issue, like maybe if you just are trying to limit your starts of him before we get to the chase, but Hamlin is my number 1 pick this week. We'll see when we pick our top 5 if I'm going to have him, because if I want to save starts.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, now another driver to kind of keep an eye on this weekend, of course, is Tyler Reddick. Even though Reddick has never made a Cup start at Chicagoland, the old surface falls right into his wheelhouse. His dirt background has helped him excel at sister tracks Darlington Raceway, Homestead Miami Speedway, and Reddick has 4 top 5 and 5 top 10 efforts in the last 6 races at 1.5 mile tracks, with an average running spot of 5.6 at those tracks.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of writing Reddick off here because he struggled this past month or so, and Hamlin is kind of the guy we're all talking about. But let's see, I think I have Reddick ranked number 5. So would not be surprised if Reddick can crank out another win. I think narrative wise, it would be super fitting. Everyone talking about Hamlin, and then boom, Reddick comes back and it extends his point lead. I feel like that's something that could happen again.
All right, our next must start driver, Kyle Larson, the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. Larson has notably excelled at venues with the old asphalt. Chicago is among the oldest surfaces on the circuit, and the two-time Cup champion has finished runner-up in each of the last 2 trips to Joliet, including his epic last lap battle with Kyle Busch in 2018.
Yeah.
That's the one where he was crying at the crowd.
Yeah.
Through 6 starts, he holds 6.2 average finish here, the best all time among drivers with multiple starts. But I will say, in Larson's defense, he said, I expected him to do that at the end of the race because I did it to him earlier in the race. So the door
In the same
was
lap.
In the same lap, yeah.
Yeah.
He said, so the door was open for Kyle Busch to do that at the end.
I think genuine fans who've been a sport of NASCAR for a long time, they kind of understood, and and then we look back at that finish as iconic, and
it is
a huge reason why people love Chicago so much, because even during the Big 3 2018 550 horsepower package that people were not a fan of, including myself, Chicagoland still put up some great finishes and great racing.
Yes, I remember one race I went to. I was in the stands for this one. It was between Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon.
And,
yeah, you remember that one? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That was another over in turn 3 too. Mm-hmm. So just some really great races that I've seen at Chicagoland Speedway. That's my home track, in case anybody's wondering about that. Okay, let's take a look at our next category here, which is the drivers to avoid. We're going to start with Carson Lahosevar here in the number 77 Spire Motorsports Chevrolet. And I think that one chart kind of illustrated why he might be on the avoid list. Given how Chicagoland drives, it seems like a good fit for Hosevar, but the number 77 team has struggled recently. He earned a single top 10 finish in the last 11 visits to 1.5 mile tracks. He could spend time up front, though, leading laps in 9 of the last 10 races on the cookie cutter tracks. They call them cookie cutter tracks, but I kind of disagree with that terminology because the tracks are so different when you go, to the different 1.5 mile tracks. They're all different from the other.
Especially Chicagoland, because that back straightaway is not necessarily straight, and that was one of my favorite parts about Chicagoland, is just how unique and quirky it is there. I like using the term cookie cutter like for places like Michigan, and then Auto Club, which is now not a thing anymore.
Right.
Actually, I think I disagree with this one here. I understand, he's not getting the finishes about where he's running. I understand that from a points perspective, but if you're looking at it from a win perspective, I think Hosevar is 100% in that conversation. And I think if you really think he has a shot, he's got to be in your top 5. I think this is, and they said it well, this is a track that suits Hosevar. And I know that 77 car struggled, but I feel like in this situation, I think he just has to be one of the guys that you look for.
I would say he might even be a good garage pick.
Yeah.
In case one of your top 5 don't have a good race, you can always put Carson Hosevar.
Yeah, I totally agree there. I don't like this pick from NASCAR.
Okay. All right. Now the next one is driver Joey Logano. I think you're going to agree with him. The number 22 Team Penske Ford, with finishes of 8th or better in the last 6 Chicagoland races this weekend, serves as an opportunity for Logano to flip the script on his season after plummeting to 20th in points. But Penske's intermediate program has left much to be desired in 2026, as Logano has finished outside the top 30 in 2 of his last 3 1.5 mile starts. That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that has just been due to bad luck and getting into wrecks, and that's kind of the main thing that's keeping him out of the chase right now, is just these finishes where I thought he was going to be kind of okay at Texas, and then boom, pit road accident, finishes like 37th or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pocono, I mean, he wasn't in contention in any of these races, but right there, that's probably like 40 points they just left down the table because he got wrecked. Yeah.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know Logano is a very competitive guy, and he is not going to like it if he's not in that chase when this is all
No, he's
said and
not.
done. So I'm kind of halfway expecting that he's going to kind of turn up the wick a little bit, but it's going to be interesting because I just haven't seen it from him. I don't know how he's going to turn up the wick when it keeps falling short.
It would be something if he squeezed out a win here. Actually, I don't think anyone would be expecting that. But, I expect a normal Team Penske intermediate performance from him, top 15 all day, and then maybe work himself into the top 10. It would be a good points day, but no way I would start him in my fantasy lineup. No way. If he comes out and wins, I'm going to eat my words. But
I do think he is going to try to get as many points as he can get by flipping the stage, if you will. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go to our sleepers. You recognize this guy, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Alex Bowman, the number 48 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. Alex, as Bowman stated following this 10th place finish at Sonoma Raceway, the last few months have been horrendous for the number 48 team. He is the most recent winner at Chicagoland and has 10 top 10s in his last 15 attempts at the 1.5 mile circuit. So I think he's another one that could be a good garage pick.
I don't know. I actually don't know how I feel about Bowman here. I wouldn't be surprised just because of the narrative aspect. This is where he got his first win. Has had such a tough year. He has 2 wins in the city of Chicago though, so wouldn't put it past him. But
on the street course too.
Yep, yes. Exactly. So I honestly don't even like him as a sleeper this much, just because I didn't hear his name at all at Sonoma, but he advances in his tournament bracket and he had a solid race there. But other than that, he just has no momentum for me to go off of and confidently say that I think he's gonna have a good day. I don't think he will, but we'll see. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I think it would be great for Alex Bowman.
It would be great for him. I will say, and I agree with everything you're saying. I will say that he has never won in the next gen car other than the street course race, but he's never won in the next gen car at Chicagoland Speedway. That was the Gen 6 car.
No one has won.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, the other sleeper that they have on here is Brad Keselowski in the number 6 RFK Racing Ford. Placing 15th at Sonoma. Stopped an abysmal skid for Keselowski for 4 straight finishes of 34th or worse.
Yeah.
He is among the best at Chicagoland with 9 straight top 10 finishes at the Heartland, including a pair of triumphs. Again, the word of caution here, that was in the next gen car.
And yeah, especially what I want to talk about is 2010's Team Penske is very different from next gen RFK. RFK is not a bad team by any means. But I kind of know what to expect. I don't mind having him as a sleeper, especially for points, because these are the types of there are races in the next gen era where Brad Keselowski just gets a ton of points, a ton of stage points, finishes maybe top 10, top 15. This is not a race where I feel like Brad Keselowski is just, don't start him. But I don't mind Brad Keselowski here. It would be something if he got a win, but I don't mind it. Just not super confident, but whatever. I don't have any issues with it.
Okay. Now then, we're going to come up to our matchups here, which I'm writing down on my pad here. Okay, let's come to our matchups. The first matchup here is Ty Gibbs versus Chase Briscoe. He picks Briscoe. Low grip racetracks favor drivers with dirt racing background. And while Gibbs has been introduced to dirt racing in the last few years, Briscoe is embedded in it. Expect a big weekend from the 19 bunch.
I don't think it's going to be an easy pick for sure. I feel like this guy's making, but I also have Briscoe. I think I think back to Kansas. He kind of was top 10, top 15, and then boom, got a third place finish on that late race restart. He was good at the Coca-Cola 600, and those are kind of the drivers that were same in betting odds with who are good. So bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I like Chase Briscoe. I have him in my top 5 this week, but it's going to be close between him and Gibbs. I definitely am going to be watching that.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, now then. The next matchup we have here is Kyle Larson versus William Byron. He picks Larson. The Colossal matchup is a tough pick, but Larson gets the nod. He's been a walking highlight reel at Chicagoland, but is still searching for victory lane. Byron shouldn't be overlooked, though, with 6 top 10s in the last 7 races at 1.5-mile tracks.
Yeah, I'm very happy that he mentioned William Byron here at the very least, and on the same level as Kyle Larson. William Byron has had such not a good year, and I thought Byron showed some promise when we went to Michigan. Led laps, just kind of faded on older tires. William Byron, while he hasn't been contending this year, he has been getting some top 10s and kind of been running there. So I like William Byron as a pick this week to get you some points, but I also have Kyle Larson.
I took Kyle Larson as well, and I did take Briscoe. I think I forgot to tell you that. Okay, next up we've got Carson Hocevar and Todd Gilliland.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite a pick. He picked Hocevar. While Hocevar hasn't finished great at intermediate tracks, he's always fast at them. There's plenty of upside, and it's a favorable matchup with Gilliland having yet to score a top 10 at a 1.5-mile track. That convinced me. I'm taking Hocevar.
Yeah. I'm also taking Hocevar. And we looked at it earlier. Todd Gilliland is ranked like 33rd in betting odds. So, and, that 34 car is abysmal at these intermediates and like these concrete ovals and stuff like that. I don't know why they're so far. The 4 and 34 car are so off of the 38 car because I don't think it is just the driver. I think it has a lot to do with it, but Todd Gilliland is great. He's had a lot of great runs in the next gen era, and that 34 car has just been not good. But yep, Hocevar easily, unless Hocevar wrecks, which earlier they mentioned.
Okay, next up we've got Alex Bowman and Austin Cindric.
This is actually surprisingly a good matchup.
Yeah, it's he takes Bowman. Entering the in-season challenge as the final seed, Bowman is this year's Cinderella story, trying to pull off a St. Peter's-like run in this bracket-style format. He should have the clear advantage this weekend, with Cindric having only 6 top 15 finishes in his last 24 attempts at 1.5-mile tracks. I took Bowman.
I don't have any issue with that. I really feel like this matchup could go either way. It's like a flip of a coin. Nothing against Bowman, but I'm just going to take Cindric so we have some sort of so we have a little bit of differing picks between us. But I'll defend Cindric though. I feel like he's always in the top 20, whether or not that be on pace or just. I don't know. Alex Bowman, you can't actually always say that because there will be some races where he kind of runs 20th to 30th, especially from this year. But Cindric, he's always kind of in that top 20 area. So I pick Cindric.
Okay, I have a dilemma. I'm trying to pick my top 5, and I'm a little bit stuck here.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's go to his top 5. This is what we're going to start calling our Fantasy Fast 5. So the Fantasy Fast 5 for NASCAR, they have Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, and Chase Briscoe. That's interesting.
I like that lineup. I have no issues with it. I think Brad Keselowski as a garage pick is pretty interesting. I'm going to get to my garage pick here in a second. But so my top 5 that I have ranked, actually, you know what? I'll do my top 10 because all of these guys deserve to be mentioned. I've got Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe at 3, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick at 5, Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar, William Byron at 9, and then Eric Jones at 10. I'm actually going to switch it up this week. I'm not going to start Hamlin because I just want to do something different.
Oh.
And I feel like I'm not in a fantasy league this year for NASCAR because I started too late. So I know around this time I would be wanting to save my Hamlin starts.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, William Byron, and then in my garage, I'm gonna have Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell has been great at these intermediate tracks,
and you haven't mentioned him yet.
Yeah, I thought he had the best car probably at the Coke 600 and maybe at Texas, and I think the thing putting him in the garage is just the wrist issue, but it didn't affect him at Sonoma, so I don't expect it to affect him at Chicagoland. But I like Christopher Bell as my garage.
You make a good point about Hamlin. I hadn't thought about that. Okay, I might put him in the garage though. Okay, I have Reddick, Larson, Briscoe, Elliott. And I'm going to put Gibbs in there. And I'll put Hamlin. I'm going to put Hamlin in the garage. Bell's a good pick, though.
I think we both got some good picks.
Okay, so that's our Fast Five fantasy picks, or Fantasy Fast Five here at Fan4Racing Radio for this week. And you've got NASCAR's Fast Five as well. So now it's your turn. You guys have to tell us who your Fast Fives are. I do want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. And I want to say thank you for some of the comments you guys are leaving. It sounds like everybody's really enjoying our fantasy report. And I really appreciate the positive feedback that we're getting on that. So thank you very much for taking the time to leave the comments in the comments section. So we really do appreciate that. And then also for this week's watch list, we do have, I put out on Tuesday, the 30th of June, our bits and pieces that gives you pretty much our lineup for this week. But I just want to mention there's a really big event that's going on out at Tri-City Raceway this weekend for the 4th of July. It's going to be the Harvicks against the Cars Tour West at that race. And Sal sat down with the track owner this week, and we have that interview up here at Fan4Racing Radio. So it includes a segment from Kevin Harvick talking about the race. So I think it's going to be a pretty exciting event up there in the upper Northwest at Tri-City Raceway this weekend.
Yeah, super excited for that event. And just want to mention, go to fan4racing.com to see my newest article about a feature of Corey Heim. Hopefully I'm going to have one done tonight. I've had such a busy week about Chicagoland Speedway's return. So looking for that one. Very happy about that Corey Heim article. So go check it out.
Yes, that was a very good article. And it is up over at Fan4Racing. I put it up as a sticky, so it's right at the top.
Ooh, special.
Yeah, that's special. So thank you very much, Reed. And we really appreciate your participation and in such a quick manner here at Fan4Racing Radio. You've really been a stalwart for us. So thank you for that as well. So before we go, I have a few parting comments, but I'm going to give you a chance to say something before I go to my final comments.
Just enjoy this weekend. Chicagoland Speedway's future isn't like entirely known right now. So I would just tell you, we haven't gotten a race in the next gen era. So don't be too stressed about it. Really just take in and enjoy the moment. That's all I got to say.
And they are all night races this week, which I am thankful for. That means we're not out there in the hot sun. But enjoy these night races at Chicagoland Speedway. They have put on some fantastic racing over the years, and I can't wait to see what the next gen car does here. But as my closing comments, I do want to just say, you've got our fantasy picks now for Chicagoland Speedway. But as I mentioned earlier, now we want to hear from you. Are you locking into your lineup? Which sleeper do you think is ready to surprise everyone? And is there a driver we should have put in the Not This Week category? Share your picks in the comments below and let us compare lineups before race day. That might be fun, Reed.
Yeah.
If you found this fantasy report helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to Fan4Racing Radio, and ring that notification bell so you never miss any of our race previews, fantasy reports, interviews, hot topic sound off, and race chat live. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you right back here after the checkered flag to break it all down. Until then, enjoy the race, and we'll see you all at the track. And I mean that quite literally this weekend. Yep. I'm going to be putting some videos up from Chicagoland Speedway this week, and we will be back for Hot Topic Sound Off, 8:15 p.m. Monday night, and that is Central Time for our Hot Topic Sound Off and review of the races at Chicagoland Speedway.
All right, see you later, folks.
See you later.